Hello everyone, my name is Kirby Chery and welcome to an informative session on how to be safe in the marketplace. Today's topic will be the Dodd-Frank bill as implemented by the SEC. The Dodd-Frank Wall Street Reform and Consumer Protection Act, commonly referred to as simply Dodd-Frank, was an act signed into federal law on July 21, 2010. The act was passed as a response to the recession occurring in the late 2000s. The act is intended to improve accountability and transparency and the concept of too big to fail, protect the American taxpayer and consumer from abusive financial services practices, and so on and so forth. The Dodd-Frank, in conjunction with the SEC, can be broken down into 5 major categories. 1. Asset-backed securities. 2. Corporate governance and disclosure. 3. Credit ratings. 4. Derivatives. And lastly, 5. Oversight of investment advisors and brokers-dealers. For asset-backed securities, the SEC has adopted several rules, the first being the prohibition of material conflict of interest. In addition to that, they have adopted rules regarding risk retention by securitizers and the exemption of qualified residential mortgages. Lastly, there are rules requiring each issue of an asset-backed security to disclose information regarding the assets backing that security. For the corporate governance and disclosure portion, the SEC has another array of rules and regulations. 1. Rules regarding pay ratios. 2. Policy pertaining to pay for performance. 3. Rules regarding recovery of executive compensation. And lastly, 4. Regulations regarding disclosure of hedging by employees and directors. The next category of legislation deals with credit ratings. The SEC has created rules regarding the Nationally Recognized Statistical Rating Organization, or NRSROs for short. The NRSROs are credit rating agencies. They must report their internal controls over the rating process to prevent any influencing of ratings. The next regulation deals with establishing technical amendments to the NRSROs, promoting transparency and providing understanding on credit rating procedures and methodologies. In addition to that, the SEC has created fines and other penalties for violations of the law. They have also competency standards and testing programs for the NRSROs. Then finally, rules requiring third parties being retained for the purpose of conducting due diligence related to asset-backed securities. Now for derivatives. The SEC has created the following rules. Rules regarding the registration and regulation of security-based swap institutions, including dealers, participants, and etc. Policy regarding the end-user exception to mandatory clearing for swaps. Anti-manipulation rules for swaps. Policy interpretive guidelines for cross-border swap activities. Regulations for capital, margin, and segregation requirements for swap dealers and major swap market participants. And lastly, rules on trading, reporting, data elements, and real-time public reporting for security-based swaps. The final category is oversight of investment advisors and broker-dealers. For this portion, the SEC has created rules on the obligations of brokers, dealers, and investment advisors. The SEC has also issued rules designating documents or information that must be provided before the purchase of an investment product or service. In addition to that, policy addressing agreements that requires customers or clients to arbitrage disputes arising under the federal securities laws. Then, regulations regarding the disclosure of votes on executive compensation. Lastly, the SEC has rules designed to create transparency of information available with respect to the loan or borrowing of securities. With increased transparency and various rules and regulations put into place, the SEC hopes to ensure investors that the playing field is now fair as they try to make money with their money. Thank you for your time.